Welcome, fellow creatives, dreamers, and the like. I've been a fan of Redwall since around 1st or 2nd grade. I got swept up in the fantasy of it all. The Redwall universe became a core part of my childhood and personal development. I watched the cartoon, joined online forums about the series, tried to enter the official Redwall contests, wrote fan mail for Mr. Ryan Jakes, and I actually even cried when I heard he had passed away. Redwall will always have a special place in my heart. Despite the fact that the Redwall series came to a quiet close with Mr. Jake's passing, I've noted that the community is still thriving. A few dedicated fans have kept the spirit of Redwall alive with fan fiction, fan art, and get this, there's even a video game in the works. I feel the heavens shining down on me, but then I realize that Mr. Jakes is probably rolling in his grave because he hated video games. But I'm stoked for it. I may have to elaborate on that a different time, though. This video is about something different. I wanted to make a series of videos analyzing Redwall and the world thereof. This is inspired by a conversation that I had with a few people regarding the lore of the Redwall books. One really debated topic is actually the size of the animals in the world of Redwall. After some research, I came to some conclusions about this. Firstly, we can't consider these animals to be sized exactly as their real-life counterparts. The evidence throughout the books changes according to each book, and the TV show is absolutely rubbish when it came to this topic. I wanted to figure out a consistent, fitting range that would work with the books and the lore. My first stop isn't what you might expect, however. Let's talk about Asmodeus. The king of vipers and a cold-hearted killer, Asmodeus was designed by Mr. Jakes to be a truly terrifying monster. If you were the size of a mouse, wouldn't a giant snake scare you? Just how big was Asmodeus? First, we'll be under the assumption that Mr. Jakes' books took place in Great Britain, if not a fictional parallel. This means the only venomous breed of snake in Great Britain must be what Asmodeus was based on. We must then examine this species. Vipera berus, also known as the European adder, is the only venomous snake native to the British Isles. If you compare his animated design to the actual species, you'll find that Asmodeus' striking markings fit very well with the wave point pattern all the way from head to tail of Vipera berus. Based off the native location of the species and the design, we can conclude that Asmodeus was in fact Vipera berus. Most adders of this species have a head that's just about the size big enough to eat a mouse or a rat. This doesn't make them very big, only around 24 inches in length. There is record of 2 of these adders that have been measured at 41 inches. This is approximately just under twice the average size. We will want to make note that most snakes' growth rate directly relates to the rate at which they consume food. The more frequently that Asmodeus eats, the faster he would grow. However, the faster that a snake grows, the weaker the snake is. Because Asmodeus is described as a large snake, we must conclude one of 2 things. Either he is very old and a healthy snake, or he is a younger snake that has eaten a lot to get to the size at which he is described. But if the latter is true, he would have compromised his health for the rate at which he grew. I would venture a theory that Asmodeus is double the size of an average adder. Historical records suggest that they can get that big. I do, however, have an argument against him being younger. If Asmodeus were double the size of an average adder, you can bet that a wee mouse would find him to be a horrifying monster. However, a fox might be able to get away with only an injury from a bite. Why do I bring up a fox, though? Because a fox is what leads me to the answer of my theory. Chickenhound, son of Stella the Healer, survived a bite from Asmodeus the snake. We have to take into account how potent that bite was. The fact that Chickenhound survived the bite suggests that the venom was not that strong. Younger snakes, particularly babies, have extremely potent bites, and they don't control the venom flow as well as older snakes. This leads to the conclusion that Asmodeus is actually an older snake. This is where the size and consistency from the books and the show come into play. It should all be taken with a grain of salt, as we never get a good judge of scale between the animals. For all we know, if it were like the animated version, the foxes would be around the same size as the mice. A true Viperobarus would not be able to eat a fox. It's completely unfeasible, even if Asmodeus were double the size of a regular adder. When Asmodeus bit Chicken Hound, he was either looking to kill or just scare the fox away. If he was looking to kill, he may have misjudged the strength of his venom and not injected enough to kill Chicken Hound, leaving the maimed fox to become Slagar. If he were just looking to scare the fox away, then the result was the same. The wiki on the species of snake even states it's not particularly deadly. A mouse would be dead for sure, but a fox might be able to get away alive. Not convinced yet? Let's delve a little deeper. We know that Martin's sword, aptly named Rat Death, is a one-handed weapon, meant to be wielded with its matching shield. The blade itself was reforged of meteorite prior to being bestowed into Matthias's paws. It was described as being sharp enough to cut into an anvil while Bor the Fighter worked on the weapon. Now, the average size of a one-handed sword for a human is approximately 60% of their body length. Translated down to a general mouse size with some leeway as it was made by a badger, Martin's sword in real life would be around 2.3 inches long, give or take some. Next, consider that European adders are not fat snakes. A normal snake's neck at the base of the head would only have the circumference of around 1 inch. Even if that were to be doubled in size, Martin's sword, held by a mouse of our world's size versus a double-sized adder, Matthias would easily be able to decapitate Asmodeus with an accurate swing, with a little space to spare. Based on the evidence, I would conclude that Asmodeus would be approximately double, plus some when compared to a size of a normal adder in the Redwall universe. Just to give it some fantasy flair, but to fit real-world logic. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments down below. Have another Redwall topic you'd like me to make a video about? Send me a message, I'd love suggestions. As a quick reminder, I'm going to be traveling soon, and I want to do some vlog-type videos of my adventures, so don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. Thanks, see you again soon.